Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam, and today we're talking about CrowdStrike, ticker symbol CRWD. CrowdStrike released their earnings report, so we're going to dive into their financials. We're also going to look at the stock chart to find out what the stock is doing. We're going to look at support and resistance lines and see if there's any chart patterns forming. So let's go ahead and dive into the financials. CrowdStrike reported their Q4 and fiscal year 2021 financial results, and they did pretty well. ARR surpassed $1 billion in milestone, driven by record net new ARR of 143 million. Net new customer growth accelerates, adds record 1,480 net new subscription customers, and delivers record operating and cash and free cash flow. And this is for CrowdStrike again. This is their quarterly results here. So, CrowdStrike, leader in cloud delivered endpoint and cloud workload protection. That's what CrowdStrike does, their cybersecurity. So if we go down and look at the highlight reel for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2021, revenue. Total revenue was 264.9 million, a 74% increase compared to the 152.1 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2020. Subscription revenue was 244.7 million, a 77% increase compared to 138.5 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. Businesses, companies, schools, colleges, in your personal life, everything is being pushed to being digital, all because of the pandemic of last year. And like I've said many times before, companies may have had a 5-year plan to go digital. That 5-year plan was squished and compressed down to 1 year, and that year was 2020, to go digital. So companies were forced to make this move faster than they were anticipating, and that helps other digital infrastructure companies tremendously in 2020. CrowdStrike is a beneficiary of that movement, and it will continue to be a beneficiary of that movement, just like Palo Alto Networks was a beneficiary of 2020. Annual revenue increased 75% year over year and grew to 1.05 billion as of January 31, 2021, of which 142.7 million was net new ARR added in the quarter. Subscription gross margin, GAAP subscription gross margin was 78% compared to 75% in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. Non-GAAP subscription gross margin was 80% compared to 77% in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. Income loss for operations. GAAP loss from operations was 15.8 million compared with 31.1 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. So they've gotten their costs more under control with the increased revenue that they're making. The company will hopefully be turning a profit there soon. Non-GAAP income from operations was 34.4 million compared to a loss of 6.7 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2020. Should have kept my mouth shut. Right there was the profit for them. Net income loss. GAAP net loss was 19 million compared with 28 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. Again, that's getting better, lowering cost, increasing revenue. Lowering your cost to produce that revenue is what you're seeing. GAAP net loss per share, basic and diluted, was 9 cents compared with 14 cents in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. Non-GAAP net income was 31.6 million compared to a loss of 3.9 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2020. All right, cash flow. Net cash flow generated from operations was 114.5 million compared to 66.1 million. So a big increase there in cash flow. Free cash flow was 97.4 million compared with 50.5 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020. So almost doubling their free cash flow. Cash and cash equivalents was 1.92 billion as of January 31, 2020. So they have a lot of cash on hand to grow. That's excellent for CrowdStrike. All right, for the full year of 2021, revenue. Total revenue was 874 million, an 82% increase compared to 481 million in fiscal 2020. Subscription revenue was 804 million, an 84% increase, even bigger increase compared to 436 million in fiscal 2020. Subscription gross margin. And again, this is for the full year. GAAP subscription gross margin was 77% compared to 74% in fiscal 2020. Non-GAAP subscription gross margin was 79% compared to 75% in fiscal year 2020. So again, growth. Income loss from operations for the full year. GAAP loss from operations was 92.5 million compared with 146 million in fiscal year 2020. That's great. Non-GAAP income from operations was 62.4 million compared with a loss of 65.6 million in 2020. Net income loss. GAAP net loss was 92.6 million compared with 141 million in fiscal year 2020. So again, it's great to see that costs becoming under control and revenue increasing. So the cost to produce that revenue is tightening and eventually they will be profitable. Okay. GAAP net loss per share, basic and diluted, was 43 cents compared with 96 cents in fiscal 2020. So great job to CrowdStrike. Cash flow for the year, net cash generated from operations was 356.6 million compared with only 99.9 million in fiscal year 2020. So almost 250 million gain on that. Free cash flow was 292.9 million compared with only 12.5 million in fiscal 2020. So you can see that revenue, that extra revenue that they had in 2020 really, in fiscal year 2021 really kicking in for their cash flow. A couple highlights for CrowdStrike, and then we'll go look at the chart, but I'll check to see if there's any ticker symbols left too. Added 1,480 new subscription customers in the quarter for a total of 9,896 subscription customers as of January 31, 2021, representing 82% growth year over year. Like I mentioned earlier, the 5-year plan being crushed down to a 1-year plan for all of these companies to go digital really helped CrowdStrike and other companies in their sector. CrowdStrike's subscription customers that have adopted 4 or more modules, 5 or more modules, and 6 or more modules increased to 63%, 47%, and 24% respectively as of January 31st, 2021. Okay, acquired there. Let's see, skip that one. These are all different things that CrowdStrike did over the year. Okay, looking good. All right, so I want to just check the chat right quick. All right, now I'm going to hop over to the chart for CrowdStrike. We've already got this one max done out, marked out. Okay, CrowdStrike, ticker symbol CRWD. All right, I'm going to go to the 1-day chart so we can get a feel for this. I'm just looking back at the past 12 months here. So you can see from March 20 lows right here, a beautiful trend line that they were following. Broke down a little bit in August, picked back up, spiked on earnings right here because they were just doing great. And then followed the trend line again, using it as resistance on the way up. And then in October, really kind of broke down a bit. But then towards the middle of November, they picked back up all the way through December. And since then, you can see they have been consolidating up here after reaching this all-time high of $251.28 right in the middle of this mix of consolidating. Okay, so let's go to the 1-hour chart so we can get a better look of what's happening right now for CrowdStrike. So I only want 2021 in the frame here. So you can see they are consolidating, and it's the blue line at the bottom at $194, and then you have a second support line, the blue line in the middle, that's at about $208, and then you've got this resistance line at $226. Okay, so support, if we look at this chart, if you see the red circles, there's 4 of them here for you. All 4 of them correlate to the purple box down at the bottom, and this is the relative strength index. Every time the relative strength index fell outside on the bottom side of the purple box here, that means the stock was oversold. Every time it popped out of the box, we have a rally immediately afterwards. So this is something to keep in mind and watch, the relative strength index, because there has been a correlation. Every time it dips below, we get a rally. Every time it dips below, we get a rally. Dips below, we get a rally. Dips below, we get a rally. And right now, we're kind of in this consolidating holding pattern right here between $195 as the base of it and $208 as the peak of this consolidation phase. And this was implemented March the 9th through today. Thank you for watching today's video about CrowdStrike. I hope you found a ton of information. I know I did going through it with you. Make sure to click the like button and also click subscribe and join our family of investors. It's free. We also have a live after-hours show after the market has closed every day. And what's special about our live show is you leave a ticker symbol in the comments and we will go over that ticker symbol during the live show. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.